Welcome back. All right, so we got 8 games in the books tonight. This is starting to settle down. Like, what I'm talking about is that tonight we didn't see so many crazy, huge turnarounds. One game started off crazy. One game had a bit of a crazy second. But in general, things have started to kind of settle down in these games. We'll see if that's a pattern or if it's just for one night, right? Maybe it's just because Florida's not playing tonight. And Chicago. All right, first up, Islanders and Devils. So for the Devils, there is no lack of hard work from the Devils. Not tonight. And yet the result is, well, you're playing the Islanders. So they do rely on their goaltender, and tonight it kind of pays off for them. Varlamov, fantastic. So it's reverse retro night for the Devils. Yep, we're still going to have that conversation. There were 3 reverse retros tonight. This is the only one that won. So we'll continue to have this conversation. Shots were 1-1 6 minutes in. DEL robbed Pajot in close. The Islanders shot blocking a ton in the first period. Not as much in the second, but definitely a lot in the first. Pressed by the Islanders with 3 minutes left. They get a power play. That's killed off by the Devils. And that's the only power play the Islanders had in the game because they don't generate a lot of power plays. Second period. Janssen would hit the post. The Devils get a power play, and then for 25 seconds, they had a 5-on-3. And that might be the moment you can look back on this game and say, man, if only. Varlamov made some really key saves during that penalty kill. It was a really strong first half for the Devils. They played very well. Another power play for them. The Islanders then press back. DEL makes some saves. Subban had a good point shot. That was stopped. We go to the third period, still tied at 0. Ever the opportunists, Wahlstrom. He continues his hot streak. He scores from Pajot and Leddy at 1 minute and 10 seconds. So this is what I'm talking about. The Islanders, they play this game. They score. Here they go. Smith then tried to answer for the Devils, but at 7:51, Lee scores from Green and Barzal, and that made it 2-0. Now, there was only 4 shots at the 9-minute mark for the Islanders. There were 4 shots for the Devils as well, so 2 of the 4 had gone in for the Islanders. Varlamov then denied Sharangovich. If not for bad luck, Sharangovich doesn't have any luck tonight. Power play then for the Devils. They pull the goalie with 3.5 minutes left. Gusev just couldn't bury it. He can't buy one right now. However, with 13 seconds left, Miles Wood scores from Sharangovich and Gusev. So maybe that helps to get Sharangovich and Gusev going, that they both get an assist on that. But all that does is break up the shutout. It makes it a 2-1 game. The Islanders go to 12-6-4. New Jersey drops to 7-9-2. The shots in this one, 8-4 for the Islanders in the first, 16-5 New Jersey in the second, 9-7 New Jersey in the third. Final shots, 29-20. Power plays, Islanders 0-1, Devils 0-4. And as usual, when there's a lot of games on at the same time, I'll throw some extra stats in after in this part of the video. Shots were also underlined by the hits that were 16-10 for New Jersey. The blocked shots, 16-7 in favor of the Islanders. A lot of that in the first, I think. Varlamov saves 28 out of 29, and Aaron Dell had a good game. He saved 18 out of 20. Varlamov was fantastic, which does sometimes happen. That's been known to happen. All right, Buffalo. It didn't take long, did it? And the sad thing is, it looked like, hey, maybe they got some fight back. So at 28 seconds, the New York Rangers score. Buchnevich from Zibanejad and Fox. And before I could post anything on Twitter about it, and I was going to, Reinhart answered from Olofsson and Eichel at 55 seconds. So there's a 5-on-5 point for each of those 3 players. And that's good because Buffalo didn't score during the power play today. So they must have seen my video today and gone, hey, let's stop getting power plays and we'll just score 5-on-5. It's an interesting strategy. But after they tied it, it doesn't take long, and Lafreniere, who's starting to heat up, he gets a goal from Buchnevich at 2:36. So Pavel Buchnevich with a goal and an assist, and it's not even 3 minutes into the game yet. The shots were 8-5 New York halfway through that period. You're just going to pretend you didn't knock it down or you didn't mean to? You guys are just going to pretend? Pretty sure that was the remote. It's kind of obnoxious during the review. Watching both of you. You stop glaring. All right. Power play for the Rangers. The Sabres get a power play of their own, but we go into the second period. Sabres not knowing that's their only power play of the game. Early chances for the Rangers. They get a power play. That's killed off by Buffalo, but shortly before the halfway mark, Kreider continues his hot streak. Lindgren and Fox with the assists at 9:32. To their credit, Buffalo does score again. Reeder with his 4th goal. All of them even strength for Reeder. Ristolainen and Dahlin. So there's Dahlin's first 0.5 on 5 at 16:21. There you go. 1.5 on 5. Everything's coming up Millhouse. 3rd period. The shots were 2-1 for the Rangers at 7 minutes. It's key because this is a game Buffalo desperately needs to win if they're going to have any chance of moving up in their division, any chance of maybe, going on a bit of a run. And 1 shot through 7 minutes tells you the Rangers are defending very well and Buffalo's just not getting the shots that they need. The Sabres then press with 9 minutes left. Hall falls down. And the puck goes to the Rangers. Montour saved it from ending up with a breakaway the other way. So Hall's bailed out by Montour there. Sabres can't get the goalie pulled. And then with 1 minute and 35 seconds left, they finally did. But they'd been trying for a bit before that, and the Rangers were keeping them in their own zone. Buchnevich then had an empty net shot that was blocked. With 1 minute and 15 seconds left, the Sabres call a timeout. After that, Reinhardt had a pretty good chance. That was saved. Shesterkin tried for the empty net, and I'm pretty sure he wanted to try twice. The first attempt was a try. The second one, he looks, and then he decides to dump it down the boards and kill the rest of the game. The Rangers hold on. They win this one 3-2. They go to 8-9-3. Buffalo falls to 6-11-3, so 6 wins in 20. It is a long season for the Buffalo Sabres. Shots in this one, 11-9 for the Rangers in the first, 10-5 Buffalo in the second, only 5-3 Buffalo in the third. So again, you're looking for that pushback, and it's not really there. Final shots, 24-19 for Buffalo. Buffalo 0-for-1 on the power play. The Rangers 0-for-2. Hits, 24-23 for Buffalo. Block shots, 17-9 for the Rangers. Hutton saved 16 out of 19. Shesterkin continues his bounce back from a slow start with 22 saves on 24 shots. Pretty good goaltender, that's Shesterkin. And another win for the Rangers, who stay in this. I don't know how in it they are, but we'll go ahead and say they're still in it. Why not? Flyers in against the Penguins. And the Flyers, of course, won their first 2 games of the season at the expense of the Pittsburgh Penguins. But Pittsburgh came into tonight 8-1 at home. So Pittsburgh, very good at home, mediocre on the road. We would see if this would continue on this path, especially with Crosby out. The interesting thing is, when Crosby's hurt, Pittsburgh plays pretty well. So there was a power play for the Flyers. They then had a second power play right after that. So that leads to the shots being 6-2 for the Flyers, 6.5 minutes in. Gensel has a chance that goes wide. The Flyers get close with 8.5 minutes left. Konechny has a chance that goes wide. Another good game for Jari, and Jari really star goaltending from him since a slow start to the season as well. Last minute chances for the Penguins, and then with 15 seconds left, Giroux takes a penalty. The Penguins get a power play. That goes over into the second. They don't score on it. Hart stopped a Gensel chance, and then Farabee opens the scoring for Philadelphia from Couturier at 2 minutes and 32 seconds, and that was on a turnover. So on a turnover, they're advantageous with that, and they take advantage. And then Kapanen scores 1 minute and 7 seconds later, unassisted, beautiful goal for Kasperi Kapanen that makes it 1-1. Rust then with the net crash, that was defended. Brian Rust always headed straight to the net. Power play then for the Penguins, and they score on it. And it's Kapanen again from Gensel and Rust at 8 minutes and 41 seconds. So pretty decent power play there for Pittsburgh, and it puts them up 2-1. And then not long after that, it's Rust scoring a goal. So he has a goal and an assist in the second period. Letang with the helper at 10:45. And they've blown it open. 3 goals in about 7 minutes, and Pittsburgh's up 3-1. Totally different team than the one that we saw against the Islanders that didn't seem to have a lot of spark. Tonight, not a problem. Even though Malkin, I didn't think had a great game, but they didn't really need it. This is how Pittsburgh is bewildering and will always defy expectation. Power play then for the Flyers. Ghost had a shot that was saved as JVR was screening in front. Late Flyers power play, but in the third period, that's killed off. There's another Flyers power play, which is killed off again. McCann had a break. Hart made some saves. Carter Hart's the reason this game stayed within shooting range. Like, he was pretty strong in this game, even though the numbers will tell you he wasn't. Then Jari stopped a Giroux chance, and then Farabee would score. Farabee gets a goal again. That's the second of the game from Van Riemsdyk and Sanheim at 11:08. So Van Riemsdyk already up to 26 points. Amazing season he's having. However, a minute later to the second, Cody Ceci scores his second from Friedman and McCann at 12:08. So Friedman gets an assist against his former team. There you go. And then Matheson scores at 16:06. That made it 5-2. There'd be a power play for the Penguins after that. That just lets them bring it home, and they win at 5-2. The Flyers drop to 11-5-3. The Penguins go up to 12-8-1. I still think Pittsburgh's playing pretty well most nights. That night against the Islanders, not so much, but tonight they were much better. Shots were 14-5 in the first in favor of Philadelphia, so full credit to Jarry for that. Second period, 14-12 for Pittsburgh. Third period, 16-8 in favor of the Flyers. Shots 42-27 for Philly. Power plays, Philadelphia 0 for 5. Pittsburgh 1 for 3. Carter Hart saved 22 out of 27. I know the save percentage doesn't look great. People are going to complain about him. This is what they'll do. Carter Hart's young, and I really don't think this was Hart's fault. Jarry, 40 saves on 42 shots. Excellent night for Tristan Jarry. And the Penguins, they're still in the hunt. This division's going to go down to the wire. The East is so evenly matched. The top, 5-6 teams are so evenly matched. So we'll see how things turn out in the East, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. All right, next up, Detroit. You know, one thing about Detroit is they're going to lose probably more games than they win. That's probably going to be the status for the year. You want to see the effort. Tonight, it just felt like they were against a Columbus team that knew how desperately they needed a win right now. And they played like they did. So the reverse retro for the Red Wings, the oddity of this, they're wearing it on the road. The other weird part is it just doesn't look that much different from their regular white jersey. It just, I don't see a huge difference. The shots were 2-0 Columbus 5 minutes in. Bernier stopped a chance for Nash. We then get a power play for the Wings, and it's a shorthanded goal for Columbus. Atkinson at 7:44. So Cam Atkinson continues his strong first half of the season, and it's 1-0 Columbus. Columbus then presses with 8 minutes left. Korpisalo would deny Glendening shortly after that. Wings get a second power play, and they score on it. The Wings power play's been waking up lately. Mantha gets that one from Juice and Ryan, so Bobby Ryan stays hot at 15:46. And it's a 1-1 draw after one. Second period, Columbus gets a power play. They don't score on that, but this is where they start to blow the game open. First, it's Riley Nash from Bemstrom and Bjorkstrand at 7:26. They then get a power play, which they would score on. It's Roslovic from Atkinson and Werenski at 9:16. The Wings get a power play. That one's unsuccessful. And then towards the end of the period, Boone Jenner gets a goal from Werenski and Jones at 17:37. That makes it 4-1, and yeah, the game's done at that point. So with as many games on as I had, very little time was spent perusing what was going on here in the third period because I knew that game was over. In the third, the shots were 2-1 Columbus, 4.5 minutes in. They would get a power play. They would then get another power play late. That just lets you take some more time off the clock. And so yeah, Columbus 4-1 winners. Detroit falls to 7-15-3. Columbus goes to 9-10-5. The shots were 10 apiece in the first period, 17-4 in the second in favor of Columbus, and 9-6 Columbus in the third. Final shots 36-20 in favor of the Blue Jackets. Detroit 1 for 3 on the power play. Columbus 1 for 5. The hits 23-17 in favor of Detroit. Block shots 12-9 in favor of Detroit, so they had the favor in both. And Bernier, he ends up saving 32 out of 36. Korpisalo saves 19 out of 20 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So Bernier, again, pretty good, but the team in front of him, not as good. And again, this was a game that Columbus desperately needed to win. So for Detroit, this is one of those things that's going to happen. And now I need to change boards. While we're talking about Detroit having a setback, now we get into Ottawa having a setback. And again, this is Decord versus Price. So when you're looking at this, you're going, Joey Decord versus Price. Well, obviously the better goalie is going to be Carey Price. And you can make that argument, but Joey Decord, he made accounting himself pretty well. And he made the argument that maybe he needs another look or two before this season's out. Early chances for the Habs. Armia gets a 4-minute high-sticking penalty. That was the only penalty of the first period. The Habs would push it around the halfway mark. Toffoli had a chance that was stopped. And then Price stopped Chabot in the last minute. But it was not a period that had a lot of fantastic opportunities, a lot of shots, sure. We go to the second period scoreless. First minute, there's a chance on Price. Batherson then had a chance that deflected out. The Habs would get a power play. They would score during that power play. Brendan Gallagher scores from Perry and Petrie at 9:26. They then get a 4-minute power play after that. So they had to kill a 4-minute penalty in the first. Now they get the 4-minute power play in the second. Petrie scores from Tatar and Kotkaniemi at 11 minutes and 30 seconds. The Sens would get a power play after that. That was killed off. So Ottawa's power play, which has been pretty darn good lately, not as much of a factor tonight. Brown would hit the side of the net. However, before that period is out, Artem Zub with his second goal of the season, second goal of his career. Batherson and Riley with the assists at 18:29. So for Batherson, his goal scoring streak is done at 6, but his point scoring streak goes to 7. He's got 11 points over those 7 games. And so it's 2-1 entering the third. But in the third, the Habs shut it down. They were leading in the shots 2-1 8 minutes in. And again, this is one of those instances where a team just shuts down the third period. The Habs pressed with 8 minutes left. The Senators would pull the goaltender late. That allows Tyler Toffoli to score to get further up the goal-scoring rankings in the NHL. Suzuki and Gallagher with the assists at 19:39. So Gallagher with the goal and an assist in this one. Petrie with a goal and an assist. And Montreal wins at 3-1. Montreal now goes to 10-6-5. For Ottawa, they go to 8-16-1. And you can start to see in this game that Dominic Ducharme's fingerprints are already seemingly becoming very apparent with this team, that this was a well-played game. They outshoot Ottawa 13-8 in the first, 15-4 in the second. Both teams had 5 shots in the third period. They shut her down in the third. Final shots 33-27 in favor of Montreal. Power plays, Ottawa 0 for 3, Montreal 2 for 3. So key numbers right there. The blocks 37-60, or the hits were 37-16 in favor of Montreal. The block shots 21-9 in favor of Ottawa. Decord saves 30 out of 32, and Price saves 26 out of 27 for Montreal. Next up, Carolina. So this was a game that did have kind of that momentum swing, but I think for Nashville, they just waited till it was too late. So for Carolina, they come into this one coming off of that emotional victory over Florida, right? And looking to build on that. The shots were 3-0 Canes 4 minutes in. And the first period was really very much all Carolina. The shots were close, but it was very much Carolina period. Power play for the Predators, that's killed off. Things get scrummy with 8:36 left. There's some 4-on-4 hockey. Who loves 4-on-4 hockey? Sebastian Aho. He would score from Nachas at 12:36. The Canes then get a power play. During that power play, they score. Trocheck from Hamilton and Stahl at 16:13. And that was one that was deflected in by Trocheck. No chance for Saros in that one. And it was the first power play goal against the Nashville Predators in 9 games. So their penalty kill had been very good. Late Predators power play. And when we go to the second period, Pekka Rinne's in net. And the team has said, we'll find out tomorrow why Saros was taken out between the first and second period. Nothing ominous to see here. Okie dokie. So second period, the Canes were pinned down early, but when they get to the other end of the ice, Lawrence scores his first NHL goal from Martinook and Paquette at 4:48. That makes it 3-0. And it's standard Carolina counterattack, take advantage of your opportunities when you get them, and just a really, really strong game for them. Shots were even, though. At this point, the shots were pretty darn near even for the game. I think Carolina had 2 more shots than Nashville. Predators pressure late in the period. Svechnikov's denied by Rinne. And the Canes get a late power play. So we go to the third period. The Predators would kill off the rest of that power play. And then they had what might have been the best period they've had in a while. There's a 2-on-1. Tolvanen shoots wide. Predators press to the point where they draw a power play. During that power play, Järnkrok scores a power play marker from Cousins and Ekholm at 6 minutes. The Canes almost answer. Nachas had the chance there, and it's saved. Puck goes the other way, and at 8 minutes and 17 seconds, Ekholm gets a goal from Fabro and Haula. It was initially believed Cousins had got it, but Cousins doesn't touch it, so Ekholm gets the goal. At least that's the official scoring last time I saw it. So Fabro and Haula with the assists at 8:17. That makes it 3-2. And the pressure is on, and for Carolina, there has to be a feeling of, wait a minute, we went through this against Florida. Why is it happening again? Duchesne then had a break that was stopped. Reimer also denied Tolvanen later on. So this continues to be an issue. We'll see if Carolina has problems closing out games from here, or if it's going to stop with 2 games. The Canes had a chance to close it out with a power play, and they do. Now Nashville, behind by 1, they have to pull the goalie and play 5-on-5. But the puck gets turned over. Aho hits the empty net, so it's a rare empty net goal, which is also a power play marker at 19:48. Carolina wins. They go to 15-6-1. For Nashville, they drop to 10-12. Shots in this one, 10-8 in favor of Carolina in the first, 13-11 Nashville in the second, and then in the third, they outshoot Carolina 16-7. Final shots, 37-28 for Nashville. Both teams go 1 for 3 on the power play. Hits, 17-12 for Carolina. Blocked shots, 12-8 for Nashville. Reimer saves 36 out of 38. He was solid. Saros saves 8 out of 10, is replaced by Rinne. As I said, we'll see tomorrow why that is. 16 saves on 17 shots for Pekka Rinne. So, yeah. Nashville plays a good game, but they fall to 2 games below 500. And for Carolina, it's another win, and they're up to 31 points. Which is good, because that division is relentless. All right, next up, Vancouver. I expected this, and I didn't expect this because I'm a defeatist and anything like that. I expected this because I knew after last night's game, Winnipeg would play better. Winnipeg doesn't usually have back-to-back bad games. So they're wearing their reverse retros, and I still thought, they'll probably still win the game. Probably. Early chances for the Canucks. The shots were 4-2 in their favor 5 minutes in. Then the puck goes the other way, and it's Appleton who has feasted on the Vancouver Canucks this year. From Lowry and Connor at 5:19. And then shortly after that, Connor hits the post. So it looks like they could blow them out. However, at 8:34, Pettersson scores his 10th from Brock Besser. So Besser on the board, and it's tied up 8:34 into that first period. Canucks then press for the lead. They get a power play. The Jets would get a power play after that was killed off. It had 0 shots. So what's the thing that seems to kill the Canucks often? At least it feels like it does. 3 seconds left in the period, Matthew Perreault gets a goal. And it's 2-1 in favor of Winnipeg after first period, where Vancouver played really well. So they played really well, and they're behind. Second period, Canucks turn it over to Connor. Don't turn it over to Kyle Connor. Thankfully, Holtby made the save there. Jets had a 3-on-2 that misfired, but then they get a power play, and they score on it. And it's Connor from Wheeler and Scheifele at 5:04. So I guess the turnover and post and all that, and he's like, fine, I'll just put it in the net then. Power play for the Jets. After that as well, it doesn't score, but then the Canucks get a late power play, and it does. It's JT Miller from Hughes and Besser at 19:55. So Besser with a couple of assists tonight. He stays relatively hot scoring-wise. Third period, early shot for Schmidt. The Jets press at 6 minutes. Again, Holtby made some good saves in that period. Brossoit stopped a Besser chance. Laurent Brossoit loves playing against the Vancouver Canucks. Just throwing that out there. I think he loves playing against Vancouver, at least this year. Stastny would score from Wheeler at 9:13, and it felt like that was the one that did it. It's a 2-goal game. Technically, yes, Vancouver could come back from two goals down, but it felt like that 2-goal lead for Winnipeg was enough to bring it home. The Canucks press with 5 minutes left. They would pull the goalie with 3 minutes left. You need that extra time because you got to get 2. But then the empty netter scored. It's Blake Wheeler from Scheifele and Connor at 17:50. So for Connor, a goal and 2 assists. For Wheeler, a goal and 2 assists. For Scheifele, he had 2 helpers. It's your usual suspects. Winnipeg wins this one 5-2. They go to 14-7-1. Vancouver drops to 9-15-2. JT Miller said after the game, we can't afford to have these splits. We need to win these series. And he's right. And right now for the Canucks, they've won 9 out of 26 games. They're not going to the playoffs. That's the thing. Tonight, did I get upset? No, I don't care. I know they're not going to the playoffs, so all of that is just gone now. I just want to make sure that the young players get their points, like Pettersson and Besser, and they play well, and that's basically it. I know the playoffs are out of reach. Shots in this one, 14-12 Vancouver in the first, 15-9 Winnipeg in the second, 12-9 Winnipeg in the third. Winnipeg just played better. 39-32 were the shots in favor of Winnipeg. Power plays, Vancouver 1 for 2, Winnipeg 1 for 3. Hits 24-11 for Winnipeg. They're a physical team. And the block shots were 15-13 for Vancouver. Holtby saves 34 out of 38. They allowed too many shots. Brossoit saves 30 out of 32. And now they move on, and we'll see how Winnipeg does from here. As they will battle it out with Montreal, likely for that fourth spot, unless they actually end up battling Edmonton for second. Again, I know Edmonton's 1 point behind Winnipeg, and they're behind in the winning percentage. I still get that feeling that that Edmonton probably gets that number 2 spot. But hey, maybe Winnipeg gets it. All right, last game of the night. We'll close it out with Tampa. Dallas can't score on Tampa. More importantly, they can't score on Andrei Vasilevskiy. And it's funny because there are people who will say Vasilevsky's overrated. Well, look at the team in front of Vasilevskiy. That's why he puts up good numbers. No, Vasilevskiy was fantastic tonight, and he's in Dallas's head right now. And I mean, collectively, that team just is not sure how to get a goal on Vasilevskiy. Back-to-back nights. Well, back-to-back games, not back-to-back nights. Back-to-back games. And while this one was a more respectable game, and you're not going to be that embarrassed of it as a Dallas fan, it's just as frustrating. So early on, the Stars had chances. They were up 3-1 in shots at 5 minutes, but they're not getting goals. You have to get the goals. It's that simple. Well, whoever scores more goals, I think, is going to win tonight. Oh, thanks, Chet. There's Chet. He's our expert. Why is he our expert? All he ever says is they have to score more goals to win the game. We know this. Tight checking, little room out there. The Bolts then get a power play, and they score during the power play. It's Palat with the power play marker from Hedman and Stamkos at 7:29, and that made them 3 for 3 on the season against Dallas. Dallas didn't kill penalties well against Tampa. They would the rest of the night, but that's a key goal, obviously. The Stars then go to the power play. No shots for the Dallas power play. That's an issue. The Stars buzz. Vasilevskiy makes some saves before the period's out, but it's 1-0 Tampa after 1. We go to the second. Heiskanen had a chance that was blocked. The Stars press at 6.5 minutes. There's pressure. Gurianov had a shot that was saved. Power play then for the Bolts, and they did get some opportunities, including a post for Victor Hedman. Point then had a chance that was stopped. Tampa gets another power play, so the second half of that period definitely in favor of Tampa. And another kill by Dallas / Hudobin on that one. The Stars press with 3.5 minutes left, but we go to the third period. It's still a 1-0 game in favor of the Lightning. In the third, Maroon had an early chance that missed. Hintz had a break. Vasilevskiy made a save. You look skyward after that one because you know that might be the best chance you're going to get that night. Power play then for the Stars. They don't score on it. And then Braden Point decided he wanted to end Andrew Cogliano for what he felt was, I think it was an elbow that he felt was high. So Point decided, I'm just going to have to choose murder. And he ends up in the box, so the Stars get a power play. But the Stars power play, it just wasn't going tonight. We then end up with a 4-minute power play for Tampa Bay with 8:29 left. Now, to Dallas's credit and to Hudobin's credit, they kill it off. And Kamano out of the box, he gets a nice break, but he fires wide. And if that had gone in, and that's one of those things, I always say one of those, well, that had gone in, but it didn't. Vasilevskiy denies Dickinson. They pull the goalie with 1.5 minutes left. They did a good job of blocking empty net shots. In fact, Killorn missed the empty net, but Yanni Gourde gets the empty netter at 19:55. So with 5 seconds left, he salts it away. Final score is 2-0 in favor of Tampa. We go to 15-4-1. The Stars drop to 6-7-4. Or more importantly, since their 4-0 start, they're 2-7-4. They've won 2 out of 13 games, and I'm already saying it's done. I'm saying that because the schedule's brutal to Dallas from here. They have 80 games in 20 days kind of schedule, and I don't see them getting out of it. They now are 0-3 against Tampa as well. So the shots were 11-5 Dallas in the first. They played well, just were behind. Second period 8-7 Tampa, and then in the third 10-6 Dallas. Vasilevskiy just beat them. Final shots 28-19 for Dallas. Power plays Tampa ends up 1 for 5. Dallas goes 0 for 3. The hits in this one 26-21 for Dallas. Blocks 15-13 for Tampa. Vasilevskiy saves 28 shots. It's his third straight shutout and the 24th of his career. So by the end of the year, he might be up to 50. I don't know. It just feels like he's just not going to allow any more goals, which there's other goalies in the league saying, I didn't know we could just decide not to allow any more goals. Cool. Hudobin, 17 saves on 18 shots. Very good night for him. Just Vassy was at the other end, and Vassy decided, you shall not pass. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, another fun night of hockey. And again, when teams I cheer for are out of the playoffs and I know they're not going to make it, I don't get upset. That's not a big deal. And there you go. Thanks again for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.